Hi guys, thank you all so much for joining me back here again. It's an absolute pleasure, as I always say, to be joined by so many like-minded people that come back to the channel every fortnight for these uploads. If you have found the 401 Files channel by floating around on the internet and you're still not sure what this channel is all about, my name is Ben and I get out here in the UK to some of these hotspots. Hotspots for very strange reports of things like UFOs, extraterrestrials, the paranormal, and even wild cryptids. I'm hoping, guys, to spend the night out here on my own, completely riding solo, investigating and exploring this area to the best of my ability. Now, it's going to get interesting really quick because night is fast approaching and I don't have a tent, I don't have a bivvy bag or a tarpaulin shelter, but what I do have, if I can remember my way back there, is a location that I found maybe over a year ago when I was last here, and it's an old bird watching sanctuary. It was beat up, run down, there was bats living inside, spiders everywhere. It was horrible, but hopefully tonight it will shelter me from the elements. Stay tuned. I don't think we can ever really say that this place or that place looks like Bigfoot territory, because we really don't know enough about the creature or cryptids in general to say where it can or can't live. But we all do have some kind of a built-up idea or an image in our heads where we think that we would likely see something like that. And for me, it's a place like this. Behind me we have this swamp, and just across the other side we have these eerie looking trees that are all interlocked and very closely knit together. Now, is this Bigfoot territory? I don't know. Is this cryptid territory? I don't know. But in my head, the image that I have where you'd likely see something like that would be somewhere like this. So I've decided to come sit around the pond while we've got a bit of quality light left and get some sausages on the go and bacon. It's so beautiful around here. I'm going to flip the camera in a minute so you guys can see. I'll maybe switch this into some B-roll, put some nice music over the top, and yeah, it's just really peaceful. The perfect spot to start getting food on because I'm starving. Sweet. Whenever I'm out exploring and I come across a beautiful landscape like the one before me now, I often wonder what other planets might look like. I also try to imagine why other beings from another planet would want to visit Earth. Instantly, I start to think of hundreds and hundreds of different reasons. Deadly viruses, global warming, war, minerals, or maybe their sun is dying. But maybe it's none of them. Maybe they're not visiting at all, but rather they have always been here. I personally believe that it's a mixture of all these scenarios, and for some strange reason, we humans just happen to be sent a stage for something much bigger that is about to come. It's weird when you think about how significant national parks are for strange things happening, like especially in the missing 411 cases. National parks are a key player for disappearances and all sorts of other weird phenomena. And maybe it's because it's easy pickings. You have people walking around in large areas of remote wilderness. It's especially in places like Canada, the US, but even here in the UK, these national parks are very, very large on foot. And a lot of the times you're taking tracks that you could walk on for miles and not see anybody. And it's a great cover story. Like, if someone goes missing in a national park, who's going to start shouting out about strange things like cryptids and extraterrestrials, alien abductions? No one's going to do that. The first point of call for people will be that it was a tragic accident. Look at where they are. They're in a national park. So many things can go wrong, and it's likely that that's what happened. So if you are one of these extraterrestrials visiting Earth, or a cryptid that lives in these areas, this would be the perfect spot to snag yourself a meal or take yourself a host on board a craft and to wherever else you're going. So no one would raise an eyebrow. No one's going to entertain those ideas because of where you are. Luckily, there are people that are twigging on and starting to join the dots, like David Paulides and a few other people. And since those people have been investigating national parks and disappearances, how they're linked with strange phenomena, the bigger picture is starting to emerge, and people now are starting to ask the right questions. How does a small child, 3 or 4 years old, walk 12, 15 miles with nothing on his feet and end up on a cliff ledge? How does a young child disappear for days in very bad weather conditions and survive? But not only survive, when they tell the story of how they survived, it's describing or giving us the image that this child was held up with a furry bipedal creature. None of this makes sense, but it's all true, because these people have no reason to lie. These people that are going missing in national parks, they don't turn up that day and say, I'm going to be another missing 411 on purpose. I'm going to go add to the many list of people that have done this and make myself disappear. No one's doing that. Something really is happening. We may never find out what that something is, but it's intriguing, and yeah, it can keep me awake at night. That's how intriguing it is to me. Starting to panic a little bit now. Not panic, that's the wrong word. I'm starting to get a bit anxious, because totally can't remember where this thing is. You know, like when you're adamant that if someone dropped you off, oh yeah, I could find my way back there easy. I'd remember it now. That was me, that was my mindset. And now I'm here. I'm thinking that I was really quite wrong. Maybe not wrong, I feel like I'm in the right area, but it looks so different. And yeah, not as straightforward as I thought this would be. I need to keep looking. So I've just dropped my bag, guys. I've left it, actually I've hidden it in the overgrown stuff about 20 metres behind me. It's not too far away. And it's not something that I try to make a habit of doing, but I'm trying to find this track back to this old wildlife hide. And I don't want to be lugging my bag around with me, going down one trail to make my way back to go down another. It's best just to drop the bag for a little while, hide that until I find my bearings. Now, I've never ventured too far away from it, so please don't worry about me getting lost or anything like that from my my belongings. But I feel like I'm in the close proximity of the hide. I just can't find it. I mean, the track that I once thought was there that leads you to it is no longer there. It's all overgrown since I was last here, and I'm having a really hard time trying to remember where this thing was. Now I need to act quick, and I need to find it quick, because there's maybe only 2 or 3 hours left of light, decent light, but it will start dropping quite noticeably much earlier than that. So I have to act quick, and I have to find this quick, because like I've said, I've got no shelter with me tonight. I've done that purposely in the hopes that I would pressure myself into sleeping in this thing and lasting the night. To some people that's maybe a stupid idea, but I always feel like if I've got my tent, if I've got other options, then I'll take them over staying in the creepy wildlife hide. And that's not what I want to do. So I've done a bit of a reroute, and now I'm pretty sure that I'm on the right track. Fingers crossed. although I'm not on the right track. It looks like they've dismantled. I've got a bit of a drama. This here was the wildlife hide that was run down and abandoned. As you can see, there's no longer a wildlife hide there anymore, it's just the floor. But at one point this was a wooden building and it would have been the perfect location for me to stay tonight. However, it looks like the Forestry Commission or whoever is in charge of maintaining this area have deemed this unsafe and they've taken it down. So now I have to really think about what I'm going to do. Never expected this. I guess the only thing I can do really right now is try and find somewhere to hunker down, or I'm just going to be walking all night. This is the problem when sometimes you just get out at the spur of the moment, and you know, you think that, oh, I know where I'm going, like I know a place where I can stay. Never really anticipating that it's no longer there, it's been knocked down. I mean, it was over a year ago since I was last here, so I should have thought down those lines, but I mean, this thing's been stood for many years, maybe over 20 years old or something this thing was, and it's never been knocked down. The minute I come back with the plans to stay in it, there's literally only the floor left. Then I have to rethink. Looks like there's been some kind of a fox kill. There's feathers everywhere. So I've had a bit of a rethink, and the fact that that wildlife hide was no longer there has kind of changed things massively. And I could walk around here all night, but what good is that going to do me? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this out for as long as I can, and yeah, just stay here until nightfall, film as much as I can. I'm going to get some food on, but then when I've had enough, I'm going to head back to the car, which is going to be a bit treacherous, walking through the woods and doing the river crossing at night. So I might not get much of that filmed, but yeah, I think I'm going to head back to the car tonight later on. As I've said, the time is now 9 o'clock, so maybe about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll start thinking about heading back. So I've just popped out onto yet another logging track, and it's fascinating because you'll be walking through the forest and then all of a sudden, bang, you're on another logging route. One that, again, doesn't look like it's been used for a very long time. But whenever I pop out onto one of these tracks, it always reminds me of some of the more creepy episodes of Sasquatch Chronicles, because in those episodes, or a few of them at least, are stories of lumberjacks and people who work in like Forestry Commission roles, talking about how they were going down logging routes and something cut across the track in front of them. We hear about these stories all the time, so yeah, although it is a lot easier underfoot and it gives you some comfort that way, in other ways it terrifies you half to death. Lily, come. You know, right about now, about this time actually, if the nature hide was still there, I would have been throwing my sleeping bag down and getting settled for the night, talking to you guys. It's a shame really that it's gone, but these things happen when you get out at the spur of the moment. It's just one of those things. I can see the stars now starting to come out. You know, I've done this a million times in my life. Been in the woods all by myself at stupid hours of the night and morning. And I really wish that I could say it gets easier, but there's nothing pleasant about being in some of the areas that I visit, knowing the history that is attached to those places, and being by yourself. That's a horrible feeling. Being with friends, having music playing, drinking a few beers, doing whatever it is that you do to relax in the woods is great. It's a great experience that I would highly recommend to anyone. But yeah, like I said, on your own, seeking out the unknown isn't always a holiday. What really helps is being able to identify some of the noises that you'll hear on a night in the woods, because if you can put names to things, it's always reassuring that you know whatever it is that's making that noise. If you can't, however, it's a different story. There has been a few of those occasions, I must admit.
If these aliens are more intelligent than us, how would they be more intelligent? In the book, I say that one of the main ingredients of intelligence is to predict the future. The ability to simulate today so we see tomorrow. And that requires a high level of intelligence to be able to understand the laws of nature, the laws of people, what is the most likely outcome of a future event. That requires intelligence. If they are more intelligent than us, they will see the future much better than us. They will see outcomes that we cannot foresee. They will simulate scenarios that we cannot even dream of. They can outwit us every time.